So tell me a little bit about your foundation, PLO Foundation, the kind of work that you do.
Yeah, let me state that this foundation was founded in 1990, barely 4 years after I'd left the University of Nairobi. And the whole idea was to give back and give meaning to the Kiswahili saying that one does not have to be rich to help, and that one does not have to give people money to help them. One needs to share ideas with them. And what we have succeeded by God's grace in the last few years is to animate and energize young people. And I think that is the beauty of what we are doing, that we have not come with tons of money because we don't have it in the first place. But we have identified certain issues, we have said certain issues, we have done certain things which has energized young people across the continent of Africa and unlocked their potential. And I think that is the most important thing, that when you unlock a people's potential so that they realize what they are doing, so that when you go to Liberia, the young men in Liberia are not being told by me or anybody here from Nairobi to do certain things. They say, these individuals are saying this thing, we can do it. When you go to South Africa, you find a young lady who is interested in outreach and says, this is the kind of thing that we want to do. You go to Uganda and you find somebody in the fashion industry and you say, this is what we want to do in order to bring Africa on the map. Ours, therefore, can only claim one thing, that through a program of mentorship, we have energized young men and women who are an army unto themselves and are discovering their potential, and they have succeeded in conquering self-doubt, conquering low self-esteem, conquering fear, and they are daring to go. And I say that that is what Africa needs. Africa does not need foundations from Europe and America giving us money. It does not require that we write proposals. Then we are beholden to Washington, to Paris, or to London, or to Copenhagen, or to Stockholm. We have been writing proposals for too long. We have become slaves for too long. And the foundation is saying, slavery no more. Self-conquest is the way. And in that way, these mentees are also becoming mentors, and they mentor us in return. And I think that that is a sustainable model.
Do you see a change in the mindsets of young people as time has gone by, as far as the way they approach their own continent and their identity as Africans?
Yes, I do. I travel and interact with enough young Africans to have hope and to be energized, that indeed I talk to enough people within the continent of Africa, both young men and women, and they speak with confidence. They believe that the continent is going to rise like the phoenix out of the fire of desperation, and that the continent is going to achieve. And what gladdens my heart is the recognition by these young men and women that this battle that we are fighting is an intergenerational battle, and that some of the things that we are seeking and asking for may not indeed be realized in our lifetime, but our joy lies in our recognition that we play our part, that this is a long chain, and each one of us strengthens the chain if we are strong in our own way and convicted in our own ways. I am confident. If you look at history, it tells you that sometimes it takes millennia for change to be discovered. You know, I keep on telling people that when Kotoka and his group removed the Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah in 1966, all the books and anything that related to Kwame Nkrumah was banned in Ghana. It took Ignatius Kutu Acheampong in 1972 to start the restoration of Kwame Nkrumah. It is today that we are asking ourselves, this man in 1957 could see what we could not see. Today, Nkrumah is fully rehabilitated. In other words, the journey that he started, which was was a journey that was timeless. And we too must remember that this journey is timeless. When you look at the struggle for African liberation, it did not start now. It started a long time ago. You can choose where to start. But when Marcus Garvey was talking about return to Africa, he was saying the same thing that we are saying today. When Williams of Trinidad and Tobago was speaking in 1945, and when the people gathered in Manchester for the first this fourth, I think, Pan-African meeting in Manchester in the United Kingdom, they were saying the same thing. When they gathered in Casablanca, Morocco in 1961, the same thing. When they gathered in 1963 in Addis Ababa, the same thing. There have been disappointments, but is it not the nature of life to disappoint people? And is it not the nature of human beings when they are convicted to rise up, even in the face of disappointment, and to reconquer their doubt and to move forward? I see hope.
I love that. And I think it just speaks back to maybe the crop of leaders that we have on this continent, if they thought that way, because it feels like they're only thinking about today and themselves. But if you think about planting seeds, you know, a tree under whose shade you will never sit, then that would make all the difference.
Indeed, you put it very right. The men and women that we have in many countries today, particularly in the political arena, are perhaps our worst men and women in many countries. Of their countries, and even within their ranks, there are few good men and women, but they are too few to be impactful. And most of them then surrender to the majority. And every tree must be judged by its fruits. When I hear a leader saying we are doing a good job, I tell, but tell me, show me the fruits. If you are Kenyan and you are talking about universal health care, show me universal health care. If you are talking about free education, show me free education. If you are talking about security, show me security. And if you are talking about peace and quiet, I said, show me peace and quiet. Because where it is, the things that we talk about, for which government are constituted amongst men, are self-evident. If you go to, one of the things that I keep on talking about as I travel across Africa is now the thing we call border. These motorcycles that are now purportedly employing millions of Africans. You go to West Africa, you find them on the roads, you find them, the three-wheelers, the keke. You go to Uganda, you find them. You go to Tanzania, you find them. You go everywhere, you find them. In the 21st century, public transportation is being solved by driverless trains. Africa is organizing border. And these leaders are leaders in the 21st century. It tells you there is a disconnect. So there is a sense in which we have a problem there. But unfortunately, the men and women who have these ideas will never, ever be elected if we use the electoral system that we have. And I'm suggesting to you, therefore, that we must keep up this fight, because during my own lifetime, I've seen things being done which nobody imagined could be done, which means that things are doable. Look at this medium that you and me are using today. That courtesy of technology, we can interact. It tells you the capacity of the human mind and how beautiful and effective it can be if it is properly deployed. Let us deploy it well, and Africa will know change. Look at the innovation called M-Pesa, which as at today is being used by 50 million Africans. I can sit on my desk and transfer money to any part of the world. It can be done.
Can be done.
But men and women who know what they want for their people can achieve it. And that is what is called leadership.
So what advice, as a final question, what advice would you give to young people who are listening to you today?
Never say die. I remember this statement from Fidel Castro. When Fidel and his group removed the government of General Batista, he told his comrades that when you are fighting against oppression and against bad things, keep on banging the door. Keep on banging the door and never say die, because when you are about to say die, that is when the door is about to give in. This is what I will tell young people.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for your time and your wisdom. And yes, we will never say die, and we'll pass on the baton to future generations. Thank you very much.
God bless you and stay safe.
You too.
Thank you.